Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie coming to theaters this Friday. Eric Bauza, who voices Porky Pig and Daffy Duck in the film, joining us now. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Rudy, for taking the time to talk to me, Daffy Duck. Woohoo! Move over, you camera hog. Hi, Rudy.
Hello, good morning. For generations, people have watched Looney Tunes on the small screen, and now we're getting a chance to watch it in the big screen as a family.
I know, I'm excited as a fan of Looney Tunes. I always say that I'm a fan first. I would be wearing these silly t-shirts even if I weren't the voice of these amazing, iconic characters.
Let's talk a little bit about the plot of the film. Daffy and Porky, they're the only two that can save us. Talk a little bit about, what we're going to see.
I mean, if you take a peek at that poster, it says it all. Look at how worried they look about this alien invasion. I mean, they're the last two that I would think could save the planet. But at the end of the day, will they or won't they? I don't know. You're going to have to hit the theaters to find out. But they're going to have a great time. And I think you'll have a great time finding out as well.
I want to talk about the process of doing this. Did you voice Porky only and then Daffy, or did you do them both at the same time? Like, were you doing a duet at the same time while you were doing that?
Well, you see, Rudy, in instances like this, I could do a back and forth, no sweat.
But in a movie where you have so many different settings and scenes and stakes, they could be in outer space, they could be talking to each other from different mountaintops. And that's not even the challenge. For me, it's like making sure that I'm giving the performance to the director, Pete Browngardt, and he's the one that really is the one he's the one file keeping. I'm giving him the sheets, all the scripts, and he's the one sorting it all. He told me, though, 9 times out of 10, anytime he would, I would record one pass as Porky. He's a little less strenuous on the voice. One pass as Daffy. He's always cranked to 11. Anytime he would marry the clips together in a conversation, he said it would work almost every time. So I must have the guardian angel Mel Blanc looking over my shoulder.
And just since you mentioned him, Mel Blanc, there's a little tribute to him in the film. Talk a little bit about the inspiration, obviously on your career, what we're going to see in the movie as far as he goes.
Oh yeah, there's tons of little Easter eggs in there. We even had Ruth Clampett, who's the daughter of Bob Clampett, who the style of this film is heavily based on. Of course, there are other famous Warner Brothers directors like Chuck Jones, Bob McKimson, Tex Avery, Friz Freleng, but Clampett was the main source of inspiration for the look. As far as the sound, of course, Mel Blanc is undeniably the blueprint, I like to call, of the sound of Looney Tunes. And there's even a character that I got to voice who's a photographer, and I almost tried to make it sound like Mel Blanc, like just his regular speaking voice, I'm about 1 carton of cigarettes away from sounding exactly like Mel Blanc. Yeah.
Exactly like him. I've heard a little bit about this, but I want to know about growing up. I know, the kids in school, talk a little bit about doing those voices in school, the teachers hearing it, and then you getting to make announcements during school. I just thought that was the coolest thing.
That that was my first audition, really, my first exposure to doing voices for an entire school. I would do impressions of course I would do,
what's up, Doc, over the PA system.
But then I would do, ooh, Homer Simpson, Marge, they're having a special on chili in the cafeteria.
Oh, Homer, that's bad for your cholesterol.
I would do impressions of all sorts of characters. And if I got a reaction like what you're doing right now, with a big smile, then I knew I was doing something right. And I would do the announcements the next day.
And I can only imagine, as you've been on this tour, and just in life, and just, giving somebody a little bit of that voice, bringing them back to their childhood or bringing them to a character that they love, just, kind of brightening their day and, giving them that smile that you normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, it is a real gift. And that, to me, it means more than anything. If I'm bringing you back to a point in your life where nothing mattered other than having a good time, and you didn't have phone bills or electricity bills or anything like that. All you had to do was worry about getting a second bowl of cereal from your parents.
Oh, exactly. Obviously a generation that watched this on television, a lot of, Gen X who watched it on reruns. In the 90s, we had Tiny Toons and Space Jam. But talk a little bit about maybe, this new generation, introducing the kids who maybe don't watch it on a regular basis, but just to see the comedic genius, that is Looney Tunes.
I think, again, eventually, because I have a 9-year-old son myself, and every time I come home and he does his homework, he asks, "Can I go on VR?" And he puts on the helmet. He looks like RoboCop, but he still gets cartoons, and there's still like even the meme culture with kids today. They're still getting hints of Looney Tunes in there, and then he
Yeah.
goes, "What's this? Where's this from?" And then we actually sit down and watch like an old short. But the funniest thing he ever says to me is when we watch an original Looney Tune short or something that I've done, he knows when it's modern and when what he likes to call retro, and he goes, is this vintage, like retro, from the 80s? I like how he thinks the end of it all, the beginning of it all is the 80s. There's nothing past. If I told him I was born in 1979, he'd freak out.
Yeah, it's always, it always just hits me right here when someone says something. Oh, you're from the 1900s. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that one.
That
one hurts
just a little, yeah.
It just hurts just a little bit. Well, Eric, thank you so much for your time today. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie in theaters this Friday. Go check it out with your family. Get reintroduced, celebrate these wonderful characters, and we will see you at the theaters on this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, that's all, Rudy.
Oh my goodness. Best way to start my day. Thank you so much, Eric.
See ya.